Oh, hello, can you hear me? Donna, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Rita. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
You look
good.
very
good.
clear. It's very clear, your picture today.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. And share screen.
You're just down the road from me, Rita.
I know. I think the two more will come in. Hopefully, so life is good. How
Life
come
is
you-
good. Things are getting better.
That's good. Where are you?
Huh?
Your own. You have a new computer or something? You're very
No,
clear.
no. I mean, I can't use my computer because I can't get my knee under the computer table, Rita. So
Okay.
I'm using my phone at my kitchen table, which it seems to be working
Okay.
decently.
Yes, yes, it's very clear. It's very clear.
But you have been so supportive during my surgery, Rita, and your helpful advice. I mean, you were right. It takes
Right.
time.
I think here is our big boss, Deborah. Hi, Debbie. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I had to
Good.
jump off we're doing a training to get people to call Congress people for climate legislation going on at the same time. But you guys were so great about organizing this that I wasn't gonna not come. So I'm glad I'm here and I want to learn more about you and then brainstorm, and then I got to get back to this other thing.
Oh,
So-
boy. You've been
Yeah.
very busy, huh, my dear?
Yeah, we're very busy. We've got meetings with 5 senators just this week, including Bernie Sanders just came up. So,
Oh,
but let's start with you two, and please, introduce
Yeah.
yourself and tell me more, okay?
okay. I'm Dr. Rita Luthra. I was an OBGYN for 45 years. I retired. Now I'm a full-time working as an editor-in-chief for this online publication with United Nations and World Health Organization. And our educational program in health and education has done well. We are serving in 227 countries, and it's produced in 6 languages, which are the UN's languages. So we want to get involved more into the education sector now. Being a doctor, it was easy for me to get into the health and get into WHO and everything. Now, since the UNESCO is sent a very good letter of support, and with your help, hopefully, we can get more into the education sector.
Yeah, so tell me more about what you want to do in the education sector. What would you like to accomplish? And just so you know, I'm going to turn off my camera because I got to go into the kitchen and get a bite to eat while we're talking, okay? But I'm
Sure.
here and I'm listening. You don't need to see me chew. So what is it you want to accomplish in the education sector?
Is bringing the oh wow, Deborah, you look stunning.
It's an old picture, and I just haven't found a more updated one to put up there, but thanks.
You must have seen my old picture too. This is my updated face.
We get more beautiful as we get older, Okay, so tell me, what would you like to accomplish in the education sector?
In education sector, the lovely woman you're seeing her name is Donna Jenny. She was an English teacher all her life. She did great. And if we could connect schools in Springfield, and of course the other lady is in India, and the colleges, and improve their standard of education. And this collaboration might help to understand different cultures also.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that there's a lot of potential. So, we've got this SDG Publishers Compact, right? So
Yeah.
this is the head of publications at the UN. working with this other woman who's now a president of business school and myself. And it's really about getting the publishers to, in their materials for the classroom, do more with the SDGs, but then also to work with the journal editors and the researchers to get them to connect their research to the SDGs. So,
That'll be great. So if
yeah,
you-
but I think there's room in that, maybe for including the things that you want. I just need to understand more about the specifics of what you want included. So let me give you a specific example.
Good.
So beyond just talking to each of the journal editors about, hey, when you go out for themes for your issues and for special issues, connect them to the SDGs. We're also asking them to tell the authors to explicitly say how it's connected to the Sustainable Development Goals, and for the reviewers to make sure that the papers are explicitly connected to the Sustainable Development Goals. So that's one very specific thing. I've got a second specific thing, which is helping with mental health issues by embedding it across the curricula.
Uh-huh.
Of course, you can't necessarily say that in a lot of countries. So it's about how to build resilience in our young people. And I think that
Right, and I
phrase is
think
going to
that-
work better.
I think perhaps I could help a little bit with that. I have a PhD in clinical psychology, and
great.
that is my background. And I worked in education. I used my degree, not only in private practice, which I'm still in private practice, but also with a huge urban school system that was basically minority and
Where?
with
Which
all the
one?
counties. Springfield, Massachusetts.
Okay, so I'm also, I know Springfield somewhat, but I'm also, I'm in Detroit. So my students are from Detroit. And so there's a lot there in terms of potentials to teach the intrapersonal and interpersonal skills. So I would love to work with you on that. And I've been thinking about, thinking about a math textbook, right? It doesn't have anything in there about how to overcome your fear of math, or how to overcome your hesitancy or your procrastination or the negative inner critic. There's so much in positive psychology that we could bring into what the publishers publish that would bring, these skills of what they would call resilience, what you and I would call life skills, right? Coping skills,
Yes,
emotional
yes, we call it
intelligence.
life
Teaching
skills.
strategies. I mean, Rita has
Right.
always maintained that. And as an NGO rep myself, teaching strategies, building the capacity to care is really what we're all about. And you can't teach math skills without having the capacity to care, to have the kids understand that this is not a roadblock or some horrible thing to be endured, that this is really a challenge and it makes you stronger. And we have the skills to
Right,
teach.
it's, in other words, it's like cognitive reappraisal, right? Reframing a stressor as an opportunity, so that way the stress goes away and they can, engage more positively.
Cognitive
Listen, this is-
behavioral therapy is really, the catchphrase these days, and it's a workable
yep.
strategy. And we have to believe
Yes.
we have the strategies to teach these kids.
Yeah, now if we talk about bringing CBT into textbooks, they're gonna go, but if we talk, they won't let us do it. But if
Well,
we
you
talk
have
about
you
bringing,
have the teachers unions in some states, and believe me, I'm a fan of teachers unions. I belonged to one my entire school career. So don't get me wrong, but the road to doing this is really challenging, because you have to have strategies to get educators and teachers unions to understand that this is in everybody's best interest. And you can't be overly political about it, but you have to be political about it. I mean, it's a catch-22.
well, so I've worked with the National School Boards Association,
Mhm.
and I've worked with NEA, and I've worked with AACTE, which is the Colleges of Teacher Education. So I've
Okay,
tried
I'm
doing,
an
from
NEA member. I've
so I
taught it
tried
there.
going from the top down. And what I found was, you could get an agreement from them, but and then they would talk about it at their conferences, but it doesn't necessarily change what's going on in the classroom. So I think getting our hands, as I've done in this thing, on the publishers. And I was thinking of just kind of making it simple. Do you want your students to do better and learn better? and be able to live better, then include these messages, embed them throughout the materials that you publish. And let's not make it a big initiative that they have to agree to or sign on to. You can get the editors and the authors of the textbooks to say, yeah, I'll put it in the next edition. So
And I
that's
think that's
one
exactly the way
version.
to do it. That is exactly
Yeah.
the way to do it, rather than confronting the issue
Right.
about
Right.
it head on.
No, because
That's
then they
really
go,
not the
how
way to
dare you
handle
teach
this.
them? Right, then they go, how dare you teach them to cope outside of their relationship to God? And you're not allowed to talk about that. And yeah, all that stuff we had with values clarification. So I would love to work with you on this, because I
Good.
work better with a buddy, and then I can bring it. I have a call, I think it's tomorrow, with the SDG people, the Publishers Compact people. And so this would be bringing in a new dimension. Now, once we have that, and we get it out to all the publishers, and they can share it with their editors and authors, and we could do some webinars that show how it's easy and effective. Then I want to go into the informal economy and the kids who aren't in school. And I really want to get this to them. So I have this long-term goal of an app. You know, poor kids have cell phones. They may not have internet at home, but they have cell phones.
Yes.
And so an
that-
app,
yes, true.
and also there's all these wonderful mentors who are like people of color who could be great mentors, but they don't have time to go to all the different schools and classrooms. But an app where the young people could see who they can be in the world, what the main messages are from the mentors. I just think that's fundable with a foundation. So once we have these same ideas, these messages, right? Then and just to back up for a second, in my intro to psych class that I teach where I have students taking 2 buses from Detroit to come to my campus to take this class. What do I teach them? Listening skills, emotional intelligence skills, anger management, how to pause and think about what you want your outcomes to be when you express whatever it is you're going to express, conflict resolution, a simple 4-step process, how to manage your inner negative critic, and a little bit of stuff on reparenting yourself. Some of the CBT, right? Maladaptive.
Well, you're up to date with all the
assumptions.
lingo. You're up to date with all the lingo.
So that's it. So yeah, I'm going to do this, and boy, I would just love to have you guys be a part of it. Now you have some health stuff in addition to this mental health stuff. So give me specifics on that. What are you thinking about? Or is that it?
No. Mental health stuff is very big for us, and we even have a special section on it. And she's a psychologist sitting over there, and we will be able to help you in any way you want us to.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about your organization and what you're already doing, would you? Yeah, I would just want to understand more.
What we are doing, sending them, giving them the right information for the healthcare providers mostly, because at this point, the main focus is on health. We haven't ventured into education sector yet, but from the health perspective, these articles and these reviews you see, there are about 300 of them. It's for healthcare providers, how to interact, how to apply in your clinical practice, and what are the latest management, what is the latest research. And these are the practical thing, because most of the journals, there are 200 journals in medicine, most of them, 99.9% are very research oriented. Like
Right.
Yale professor writes, only 10 people can read and 1% or 3% can understand. I mean,
Right.
in the world, in the real world. So
Yeah.
this
yeah.
is the knowledge which touches the patient. This is the knowledge it's a condensed version of all these journals, and you can utilize in your day-to-day practice. And the topics we pick, reviews we pick are everyday's issues. Yeah.
So I'm going to connect you. I don't. You guys probably already know each other, but so I have a sister. I have an older sister. Okay. And she is a family practitioner.
Good to
and
see
she
you
works
here,
at-
Deborah. And good to
Pardon
see
me?
you now. Good
Yeah,
to see
sorry.
you
Well, I'm
now.
eating. You're gonna see me
That's-
eat because I gotta eat.
Absolutely.
but-
Send it
so-
our way.
So my
Yeah.
sister is she works at Henry Ford Hospital. In fact, she just
Oh.
retired from clinical practice, but she was part of that crew that got the teaching of listening skills and interpersonal skills into the medical school curricula. And
Yes.
she worked with a whole consortium around the country on health disparities and really great stuff.
Yeah,
And so-
our
and-
healthcare policy section, Deborah, has
Yep.
all those reviews on it. If when you get a chance, read that healthcare policy section, how to reduce the medical liability, how to interact with the people and everything. There are at least 30, 40 reviews on it.
No,
Very
you
well.
know what? I'm gonna do more than, I'm gonna give it to my sister and I'm gonna say, you
Please.
look at it and tell me
Please.
what I haven't already seen. But she teaches empathy
Uh-huh.
to, empathy and good listening skills for better diagnostics and better patient relationships. So I've always thought, my sister, Marla and I have always thought that there's a lot that could be brought into the education sector that
Yeah.
we haven't done. So I think this is a great idea. I love it that I can go to the meeting tomorrow and say, hey, I talked to these women who run this
Sure.
thing and they think we should use the SDG Publishers Compact to get this stuff done too.
Sure,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to address your question, Deborah,
Yeah.
Rita and I live up the street from each other. We could be at each other's house in 2 minutes.
So where, do you live in Springfield? Where do you live?
I live in
Long
Long
Meadow.
Meadow.
She lives in Long Meadow too, and she's a very she knows our mayor here, and she knows the U.S. representative here too. So eventually, when you need the nods of these political people, but I'm talking about the Springfield. I'm not talking about the India. She got held up somewhere, but India is a different story. India will not be a problem. But let's make a project for Springfield, because the mayor will be interested in Springfield, how to improve the standard of education. And she even knows the superintendent, education superintendent. So,
Yeah, well, that's good. You guys can pilot it in Springfield, but I think we need to call it an international initiative.
oh,
Let's
absolutely,
start-
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
That was Rita's plan right along.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's really
yes,
how
yes.
her
That's
So
global
wait,
vision.
where's Long Meadow?
Long
Where's
Meadow,
Long
settled
Meadow?
with the-
at
we're
the
settled
border
with the
of
Pilgrims.
Massachusetts and Connecticut, near Enfield, it's Springfield. I mean, it's 5 miles from Springfield. Springfield is a big
Okay.
city. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Long
yeah.
Meadow
So,
is about-
Western Massachusetts is my favorite spot on the planet,
Yes.
funny enough.
Oh yes.
It's just beautiful. And when I was young, I was first a community organizer. And then I
Uh-huh.
wanted to see people who consciously created community. What did they create? So
Yeah.
I went and visited communes around the country.
Uh-huh.
My parents almost lost their mind with their kid going to live in communes, but I did that. And there was one that was Western Massachusetts.
Of course.
It was a Sufi community. It was called the Boat of the Message. It's still there, of course. Yeah. And then I have so I know, and I went to school in New Haven, right? So
Yes.
yeah, okay, now I see where Springfield is. Yeah, so the Abode of the Message is near Pittsfield. But then
Yeah.
what's the town where Tanglewood is? Oh,
Tanglewood
you're
is near
you're
Pittsfield.
south of Northampton. Oh,
Yes,
I
we are
see where
south
you
of
are.
Northampton, and Tanglewood is about 40 minutes from my house.
yeah, so I got
Yeah,
a cousin who lives there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to get together in person at some point, but
Oh, absolutely.
tell me about your capacity. I was thinking that if we could just create less than 10 pages, just a short, infuse these things into the textbook as to how you approach learning. So you're not learning out of fear or learning with lots of stress or shutting down around learning, but you're using this, being your own best friend and not being passive or aggressive, but being assertive and all the other things I just mentioned, the life skills
Life
to position yourself as a great learner. Oh, and by the way, it'll also help you cope with life and have a better life and healthier relationships. So I'm just thinking of like trying to write up maybe 10 pages that's just like, hey, put these things into your textbooks and your students will perform better. Now, we probably have to find a journal article somewhere to support that, right? But
Yeah.
positive attitudes towards learning and educational performance, I'm sure there's thousands of articles that support that. So we can put the
Can you
citations in.
Can you post this 10-page memorandum or whatever you want to call it on a website? Because I can give you free access. We have a point of view segments in our newsletter. I did send you a sample of newsletter. Newsletter is a monthly newsletter, and that may not need any references of a journal because it's a point of view segment from you.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So that way it's
800 words, 800 words as a point of
quote
view,
published
and-
somewhere when we go
and
to share it
link-
with the publishers. So
and link to it, and that
Okay.
gets posted on the website. And plus, in my email, I have about 1,100 people, which personally gets this. My outlook is 1,100 people every month. It personally goes. These are all the directors and writers and everything. So for that,
Good.
you don't even need. But I need a link.
good,
and
that's a
800
low
words.
hanging fruit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Tell me about India and then we have to create another time because I gotta go after this. I'm really
That's
sorry.
okay, no
And
problem.
also Rita, I see your name, but my new friend, the clinical psychologist, what's your name? don't know your
Donna
name.
Jenny, Dr. Donna Jenny.
Yeah, her iPhone
Okay.
doesn't have her name.
Nice to meet you.
better- Yeah. Deborah.
Yeah.
Donna Jennings.
So-
Yeah.
So Rita, tell me about what you said, India will be easy. I mean, we've got connections with higher ed institutions in India, but what were you thinking in terms of other countries?
Other countries, I mean, I know that the NGO chief at DESA, I can send him the proposal, and I can send a proposal to UNESCO. Please help me, because they sent a beautiful letter, and your 10-page and all that stuff, that you are the educational expert helping me. And these are my lines from the UN. UN has
Okay.
always been very helpful to me. So UNESCO and UN DESA chief, Mr. Doral.
Good.
has been
Well, the
very helpful.
UN DESA would be very good. I'm already working with UNESCO on their higher ed
Uh-huh.
piece for next year. They're having a conference that they postponed till June of next year. So I'm already doing, I think, like a TED talk. They don't call it that. They call it an ed talk. I'm doing like 3 different things for them. So we
Yeah.
could integrate this in to it.
Sure, sure.
And you guys
absolutely.
would, yeah, that sounds really good. So,
And definitely send
If-
your sister my name and email, and I would love to chat with her or whatever.
yeah, my sister's something else. She's a lovely human. When can we meet again? So
Whenever, whatever
Okay,
is good
s-
for you. You have too complicated.
So Dr. Donna, if you have ideas about if you could get statements into textbooks that would give the positive psychology skills to the students to be more positively engaged with their learning, what would you like to include? Because it would just, if you have a chance to just do some writing, and I can pull from that into this 800 word thing. And if you want to, I'd love to see your thoughts on it. And then, maybe moving forward, we write things together.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, actually, just in closing, Deborah, when Rita and I did a panel discussion that Rita led for the UN fairly recently in the past couple of months, well, I had statements from the chief of police in Springfield about the difficulties for children and how frightened they were and how difficult it was to know good from bad because there are predators out there. I mean, that interfere with their being able to acquire correct life strategies. I mean, someone on the street wants to be your friend, they're not
Uh-huh.
your friend.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, kids are pretty isolated in urban areas. In areas like Detroit, in areas like many communities, parents don't send their children out to play after school. I mean, they'd have to have their heads examined.
Yeah, but if they're working, so they can't supervise the kids, and then the choices in the neighborhood are the gangs.
Yeah, that's
hard.
those. And so our chief of police had some really instrumental things. I mean, she came up through the ranks and worked, but she has, you know, gave us a whole statement along with our mayor about kids in Springfield and the difficulties they face. So I understand what you're asking for. And yes, read it and I will put it together and send it to you.
That's right.
Sounds simple
Yeah,
enough.
give me your thoughts, but also maybe send her statement. I think that would be great because it builds the need for these kind of skills in their life as well as towards their learning.
Okay,
Um,
what you have to do in order for me to do that, send me your credentials, the agency that you're working for, so that I can send it to Commissioner Clapprood. I mean, she'll want to
Mhm.
know who's going to use these statements.
Yeah, I just want to be able to quote from her to build the
Yeah,
need
yeah.
for,
But she needs to know who you are. She needs
yeah,
to
so
know
you
who you
weren't
are.
on the email train. Can you throw your email into the chat box?
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, put it.
Yeah. And I'll send you, if you
I
get an
was
email
on, I
from me,
was on the email chain, Deborah, and we
all
talked
right,
about
look
times
underneath
and
my
some-
name, okay? And if you were on the email chain, then I'll also, I can send you a resume, but
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
ridiculous numbers of pages.
No. What
but you're welcome
organization you're
for.
working for and what your plans are for publishing her statement.
Okay,
Remember,
so,
this is a police department we're talking about. They want to
Right.
know who wants their info and what you're going to do with it. Generally, global. I mean,
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I can do that. That
Yeah.
sounds good. And then, do you think maybe in a week or two, you could get me your thoughts about what you'd like to see included in all textbooks?
Sure.
we would
Rita and
make
I will
part of
get
that.
together and we'll
Yes.
have that for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll work on it. We'll send you within a week. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great. Send me your thoughts and then I'll build on that and then I'll send you the 800 word thing and you can give me feedback on that. And
This is really
we're on-
exciting.
we're on our way.
This is really
Right.
That's
exciting.
right. That's
All right,
right.
I gotta go because I'm now
All
gonna be
right.
late for the
So
next
whenever
thing, but
you-
I
yeah,
really
whenever you
appreciate
want a
this.
Zoom meeting, just either you send us the link or we'll send you the link, whatever. I'll be happy
Okay,
to.
well, so here's what I'm thinking is that let's at least schedule something for 3 weeks from today. Same day, same time, works for me if it works for you. You two get your schedules
Okay.
together and just send me an invite, a calendar
Okay, you were
invite.
talking about August 2nd, Monday, is that right?
Yeah, that works good because the week before I got kids and grandkids to deal with, so. And
Okay.
then, and I may very well reach out to you before then, but at least then it won't fall into the
Yeah.
abyss, you
And
know?
I'll try to do it in the morning because morning I'm a morning person. That's
Yeah,
what-
Monday mornings are good for me. all
Okay,
right.
Good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Monday morning,
It was-
Monday morning, the 2nd is good. It has to be before 12:30 because I have some
Oh,
appointments that
absolutely.
afternoon.
All right,
Absolutely.
let's do it between 10 and 12:30 because I've got an international call at 9, okay?
Okay, 10
Okay.
and 12:30, August 2nd. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right.
look forward to getting the stuff from you and I'll send you a little thing too.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
Rita, you and
thank-
I
Bye for
will
now.
chat later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so remember, do you still have a copy of your speech?
Yes, yeah, Rita, yes, I do. And I do have Cheryl Clapprood's statements. I hope I may have deleted it from my computer, but I do have a written copy of her
Yeah.
info. And I'm sure that if she knows who this person is, she'd be happy to allow us to use it. But you know the Springfield Police Department, I mean, they're really up against it. She is not going to let just anyone. She knows me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so if Deborah sends us her information, which is pretty straightforward and simple.
And in the iPhone, write your name because here it shows iPhone only. It should say Downa Jenny.
yeah,
Just write your, yeah, he'll do it. Your Don will do it for you.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so let's get together and when do you want to come in?
let me just look at my schedule. I have tomorrow, my daughter's coming tonight, and gonna stay for a couple of days. And I have my grandkids on, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, Debbie Badanis is coming. I'm trying to think, Wednesday morning might work good for us, Rita. You want to
Okay,
come
okay.
over here and we'll talk about
Okay,
what we
okay.
want to put together?
Okay, that's fine. What time? 14th morning.
Yeah, morning. What time is good for you, Rita?
Let's say 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Okay, also I will see
In
you.
the meantime, we'll do some research.
Yeah. And we get going from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think I understand pretty clearly what she's looking for, because she's talking a language with all that.
I know this language is not a usual language for me. That's why I said-
Right, but it is usual for me, Rita. So
Good,
it's sort
good.
of like the NGO part of it. You always understand that far better than I do. And some of the acronyms she was using today, like sustainable development, she used an acronym first before she actually said the words. I mean, I was clueless what she was talking
No,
about.
no, damn, I'm used to it.
So you understand all that, Rita.
Yes, yes.
But
Okay,
I
so
think this might be a way
14th, 9 o'clock.
Alrighty,
I'll see you
see you then,
Wednesday.
Rita.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks for including me.
Anytime. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.